What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Another video response. This is from Yurika Whuat. Yurika Whuat? First off, hello. Eureka, I came to realize that you're German, so ich wollte nur sagen, hallo, danke für Ihr Comment und hoffentlich wird das was interessant. Weiter. So, anyway, moving on. I have to say, when I first read the comments, I expected something more violent and much more upsetting and, well, yeah, insulting. Yeah, that's generally what people do. When people come across ideas and concepts that they don't like, they tend to turn to insults. Violent insults, yes, that too. I think it's because people are less intelligent than they actually believe they are. And apparently I think I'm more intelligent than I really am. Whatever the case may be, I'd rather think I'm more intelligent than I really am than not be as intelligent. Yeah, see, there you go, my intelligence. Anyway, you get the idea. People insult you when they can't contend with your argument. So for all these comments on my intelligence, people aren't really contending with my intellect and the concepts that I've come up with very well. Because were I as dumb as they say, they would easily defeat me with logic and reason. Moving on. I meant it was very insulting. There's no denying that one. Insulting to who and how? I used an analogy of women in cars and adjustments, and someone's insulted. Insulted why? What's there to be insulted about? But anyway, moving on. But at least you took your time and said that men should treat their woman, aka car, correctly. Yes, and you should treat your woman correctly, and you should treat your car correctly. But you should treat your woman better than your car, in general. Well, sometimes, maybe. Your car doesn't give you a lot of crap like your woman does. I'm just playing. I'm just winding you up. Because bad or good ownership, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. But look, we're going to come to this point about ownership. Let's come back to this one step at a time. Anyway, the problem you don't seem to grasp is that comparing women to cars is very dehumanizing. It's like calling men toilets. To have some background, there's one phrase going around in Germany, obviously joking, that although men are like toilets, either full of shit or taken. So I guess in German that would be Männer sind wie Toiletten, voller Scheiße oder besetzt.
Ha! Gay!
I'd love to explain this further, but you get the idea. Yeah, I get the idea. Look, here's the thing. Men have been degenerated in modern society. Just look at commercials.
I don't know about you, but I live with a bunch of animals. My kids are pigs, and my husband is, as soon as I clean the house, it gets dirty again. That's why I have an iRobot Roomba. I just push one button, and it eliminates the daily grind of keeping the floors clean. So I can spend more time with my best friend.
Wow, he's like a deer in headlights. He doesn't really think if he stares long enough, new food will magically appear, does he? Just like magic. Voila. Where does he get that from? Oh, and there you have it. The tree from which the apple fell.
Is this what happens when you get caught driving without car insurance? No, but considering the fines and penalties, it sure feels that way. 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. State minimum coverage, maximum savings.
Society has been treating us bad and poorly for a long time. Men are disposable, aka male disposability. You want to talk about dehumanizing. Men are treated as disposable. Women and children first. What, I'm not going to drown when this boat sinks? House is on fire. Women and children are first. I'm just going to stand in here with my asbestos underwear. I'm not flammable. Why? We are dehumanized as men. We are expected to surrender our lives to protect the lives of women and children. Men are dehumanized. I make an allegorical analogy between women and cars, and now you feel dehumanized? And this is proof that we live in a feminist, gynocentric society. There was a famous saying, I can't remember who said it, was somebody like Machiavelli or Voltaire. Somebody says, if you want to know who rules a society, pay attention to who the people speak about in hushed voices. Women don't like to be criticized in the 21st century, and criticizing women can get you fired from your job. Something you say privately can get you fired from your job. And it's not harming anyone. No one bled from the nose and died from the comments that a person made. Just the people who are getting butthurt need to get thicker skin. Don't talk to me about dehumanization. Men are dehumanized. Men are disposable. Men are treated like we aren't worth anything. You want proof? Look at the court systems in the West. No fault divorce. A woman can go cheat on her man, get caught, go to the court, get a divorce, get the children, get half his crap and the house. Dehumanization. Don't talk to me about dehumanization off a basic analogy using a car. But anyway, let's get back to your letter. Why is it dehumanizing? First of all, let's talk about the concept of human. A thinking and feeling individual who can certainly decide for themselves and thus have their own opinion. Boom. And you said it right there. Look, maybe it wasn't clear that I'm talking about relationships. In a relationship, it's mutual. Two people decide that they want to be together. Now, I'm advocating to a man that he gets a woman who wants to be his woman. That means she wishes to submit to him, because women want to submit to men. If women didn't want to submit to men, 50 Shades of Grey wouldn't have sold over 100 million copies, and the movie wouldn't have been such a hit success. And what is the book about? What is 50 Shades of Grey about? A crazy, domineering rich guy who completely sexually abuses a woman, and she enjoys it and he enjoys it. They accept it. It's mutual. They like it. Both of them accept it. Now look, I'm advocating by saying, is she your woman? To get a woman that wants to submit to you and be your woman. She has the right to say, no, I don't accept that. And then you know what? She's not your woman. You go find one that wants to be your woman. She has the right to leave the relationship. She doesn't have to be there. And I'm telling men, that's no big loss. It's not. Go get a woman that wants to be your woman. But you missed that. Maybe I should be more clear in my videos. Maybe I skip over these basic concepts and understandings that relationships are mutual. Mutual benefit, mutual agreement. Two consenting adults. Me, I want things my way, or it's going to be the highway. Baby, you can't deal with that? Go find your man. Go get him, because you're not going to be my woman. If you want a guy to be your man and he submits to you, go find it. But I ain't that little VJJ guy. I ain't thirsty like that. You're going to submit to me. I'm not going to submit to you. You're going to be my woman, and we're going to be happy because of it. But let's move on to your comment. If now with a mental or physical disorder or not, I guess that's a German mistranslation. I don't really understand what you mean. Which also is a part of the individual, by the way. I don't know what you mean by that, so I'm just going to continue on. Anyway, if you take this individual and try to press them into a different form, the only thing you'll get is damage. Look, no one's pressing them into a different form. This goes back to what I just said. It's mutually consenting. I set the standards. I dominate. I am Dorian Gray, or whatever the guy's name is, 50 Shades of Grey. You don't have to be my woman. You don't have to do you don't have to submit to me. Don't. You know what? And that's what happens multiple times throughout the day and in lifetime. When a guy approaches a woman and he wants to be in a relationship with her, she decides as to whether or not she wants to be with him. Women are sexual gatekeepers. She submits to his desire for sex. AKA she lets him in. She submits. Tell me I'm wrong. You should watch my video on women are sexual gatekeepers. This is partially into that concept. If I want sex, what has to happen? I'm the banger, you the woman are the bangee. That means you have to submit to my banging. You can never bang me. Do you get this? A woman's nature is to submit. And if it wasn't, 50 Shades of Grey wouldn't have sold almost 200 million copies. Moving on. Oh yes, and so a woman wouldn't be damaged from this. If she's damaged, that means she's with the man that has to like impose himself upon her because she's not willingly giving herself to him. This is a mistake for him and for her. For instance, take a slave. Watch my video on slavery every time a white person mentions slavery to me when you disagree with me. You will try to buy a slave, adjust it to you, and if they will not adjust to you or to your liking, just like a car, to follow your analogy. No, it doesn't follow my analogy at all. Because, look, a car is an inanimate object. I could have used the slave analogy. There is a slave analogy that is appropriate, and we'll come to that. But I picked the car because it's an inanimate object. I could have used dog. That's dehumanizing. Had I said, treat your woman like a dog and train her, and if she doesn't respond, kick her and deny her food and let her sleep outside in the cold for the next day. That's dehumanizing. Using the car analogy is not dehumanizing. It's just an analogy. It's a comparison. Just so people wouldn't come to like ridiculous conclusions like you are and then jumping into slavery. Slavery is not the same. The slave fundamentally cannot say no. A woman can. She can say, I do not submit, and so I do not accept. And therefore, she leaves the relationship. Right? If she doesn't submit to her man, or a man, and he tries to impose himself upon her, let's say sexually, that's called rape. He's removed her right to reproductive access. He's taken it, which is wrong, and he goes to jail. It's not accepted in society, and any feminist, this is proof that there is no rape culture, because we punish people who do stuff like that. Or if a man imposes himself upon her, and he forces his will upon her, and she doesn't accept, she doesn't submit, she doesn't respond in the way that he wants her to, they call that unlawful imprisonment, and he goes to jail for it. If a woman is not willing to submit to you as a man, she's not your woman. Your woman will submit to what you want, and she'll do it willingly. 50 Shades of Grey proves it. Boom! That's why all y'all women went out and bought that damn book and watched the movie. You undermined each other with that book. Moving on. Slave, just on liking. The slave is not an individual who can think or feel for themselves because they do not belong to themselves anymore. They are yours to do with as you please, like a car. Let them work, let them sleep, and bang them. Yeah, well, this goes back to what I just said. A slave doesn't have free will. A woman in a relationship does. So your slave analogy is incorrect. But we're going to come to one slave analogy that you could have used, but you didn't. Yet care for them like giving them food, eat, clean water to drink, maybe some clothes, or even a place to sleep. Look, the only time you could use the slave analogy properly is like when you white people, y'all love that BDSM or BSDM or whatever you call it, where y'all dress up in them leather masks with your tongue sticking out and you whip each other and you tie each other up with ropes and from the ceiling and beating each other and doing weird stuff. That's a slave and master mentality, and both people are doing it voluntarily for mutual pleasure and individual pleasure. That's a workable slave master analogy. But you didn't use that one. Why? That's something you white people, especially Europeans, seem to love. But you didn't use that comparison. So it actually, slavery in a sense does work. Does that cause psychological damage? No, they both willingly go into it. Most of the time, the man is the master and the woman is the slave. You got sometimes when these really weird dudes get it reversed and they want the woman to dominate them. But then again, that's mutual. They both want that. Yes or no? And they derive pleasure from it in some weird way. Don't ask me. This is not my thing. I don't get that, how you get pleasure from it. But they both enjoy it. One person enjoys submitting, normally the woman, and one person enjoys dominating, usually the man. So, again, your point's out the window. And mine is still in the window. Okay, But if you adjust your future wife like a car, she will have mental disorders because she is in a manipulative relationship. Reiterating yet again, she can choose not to submit. She can say, you know what, these conditions, I don't like the conditions of this relationship, and so I'm going to leave it. She doesn't have to submit. But then if she wouldn't submit, that means she wasn't into you in the first place. She doesn't have the desire to submit to you. She doesn't feel like safe and secure that she could submit to you. So she was never your woman in the first place. Dudes, if you got a woman and you can't get her to do what you want, she's not into you. She's with you, but she's not into you. And when she finds a man she's into, watch how hypergamy works and watch how far under the bus you land. Every relationship in which one of the partners is adjusted like a car is, in a way, slavery. No, it's not. Slavery, the person doesn't have a choice. Relationships, the person does have a choice. The context of my video was in a relationship, not an ownership. The car was just an analogy to wrap your head around so that I didn't compare women to animals like dogs or whatever else that you train. But you went there. I didn't do that. You dehumanized women. You brought slavery into this. I kept all of that out of that with the understanding that, you know what? It would be really rude to compare women to animals that you have to train. And I don't, that's an incorrect analogy. That's not right. Oh, God. Because animals have to be trained, because animals are sort of like slaves. They don't have a choice. They didn't ask to be brought to your house and then, stuck in rooms when they're used to roaming the wild freely. No. So they have to be trained and taught how to use the bathroom, maybe a cat in a litter box, or your dog has to learn how to hold it until you can take him for a walk. Women can voluntarily decide to walk out the door or stay and serve her man the way he'd like to be served. Your analogy is incorrect with using slavery, because that person is not allowed to feel, act, live the way they are since they're adjusted to you and therefore no more an individual anymore. Foolishness. I'm just basically repeating myself here. She's her same person, but she desires to be with her man and please him through submission to him. And 50 Shades of Grey proves I'm right. Women want to submit to a strong, dominant, powerful man. They're mentally no more than slaves because they are owned just like a car. I've covered this. This will cause mental illness and depression, stress, and disorders. No, actually the opposite. A happy man is a happy woman. Has a happy woman. A happy woman has a miserable man. And that's a video on its own. I'll explain why some other time, but that's the way the order of operation goes, which can lead to suicidal thoughts or even actions because something is wrong with them, since they are in a manipulative relationship in which you try to adjust them like a freaking car. No, that's what happens in slavery, not in a consenting relationship between two adults who are, in a relationship and decided they wanted to be there. They will think of themselves as failures because they are not adjusted enough. Why? No, this goes back to what I said about consent. It's consenting. The woman has the right to decide if she wants to be in that relationship or not. If she feels it's overbearing or she can't take it, she can leave. You cannot stop thoughts. You cannot stop the part of you which is still yourself. They're still individuals caged in a manipulative place with their own relationship. Within your arms, they will wither to death. And my counter argument is what? 50 Shades of Grey. Over 100 million copies sold. The movie was a freaking hit. Women want to submit to a man. Your theory and hypothesis is emotionally and intellectually dishonest at its core. You women say things and you don't mean it. You say one thing, you mean something else. You say you want one thing, you react to something else. You're being a woman and you're being all emotional and you don't like that the secret's out. But 50 Shades of Grey threw you women under the bus. An individual who is your partner will suffer under these circumstances. I contend that, and I think I've done that quite well, so I'm not going to go over that yet again. I take it that your girl, wife, woman will marry you as they love you. They like certain parts of you so that they say yes when you propose to them. In a way, they choose to be on your side. They choose. There you go. She has chosen to be there. You would say it yourself. You just said it right there. She's chosen to be there. She's chosen to be there. And not adjusted to be there like a car or slave would be because you buy them. So please don't compare women to cars. No, look, please don't compare women to slaves. You messed that up, not me. Cars was appropriate. Slaves was highly inappropriate. Don't adjust them. That is manipulation. Don't let them suffer in a place they want safety in. Why would a woman feel safe and secure in a relationship with a man that she doesn't feel she could submit to? Would you feel that way as a woman? I don't think you would. In a relationship, both sides should be happy, man and woman. Yes, and I say it again. A happy man equals a happy woman. A happy woman equals a miserable man. Should have the chance to be in a place they find comfort in. If a man is not ready to give his comfort to a woman, he cannot expect respect or love in return. Fine, fair enough. But I can speak for myself. I've had a lot of emotional damage done to me because I was being the nice guy that women said they wanted and they really didn't want. Because women say one thing and react to another. They say they want a nice guy who they friend zone and then they go bang the bad boy. So, that's another conversation on its own, though. You will have nothing more than a machine in your bed, cold, devoid of emotions for you. I don't know. I don't know if that's, you make that sound like that's unappealing. What does a man generally want? A man wants, let Dave Chappelle explain it to you.
It's going to cover 100 ways to please your man by some lady. Get out of here, man. Come on. Ain't no 100 ways. That list is 4 things long. Just suck his dick, play with his balls, and then fix him a sandwich and don't talk so much, and everything will be happy.
I want you to think about this. We can have further discussions on this matter, and I really hope you try to understand my point. I understand your point. You're being a woman, and that means you are an emotional liar. You're going to say one thing and react to another. You're going to say you want a nice guy who's carrying your affection and he just thinks about my feelings and he listens to my words. And then you're going to get that guy and you're going to put him in the friend zone. And then Mr. Bad Boy with the STD, the 80-year-old drummer, the guy who looks great in the crowd, whatever else, and he's got social status, you're going to bang that guy and probably get herpes from him. That's what women do. Anyway, 50 Shades of Grey, I'll say it again, has laid your entire argument to rest. I could have just responded, my video was like 50 Shades of Grey. 100+ million copies sold. And the entire foundation of the story is a man totally dominating, almost abusing a woman and her loving it. And women went out and bought it in numbers that are over 100 million. They made the movie a freaking hit. And what does that tell you? Women want to submit to a dominant man. They have wet dreams about it, to the point that they went out and bought almost 200 million books about it. It's an inner desire. Why do you think feminists always talk about rape culture? They have a rape fetish. They have a rape fetish. Listen, dudes, we know the hadith about talking about sex and what you do in the bedroom, but let me tell you something. I'm not talking about what I do, but let me tell you something. If you're not grabbing your woman's hair and pulling and choking her and stuff, you're doing it wrong. Every woman's got a rape fetish. That doesn't mean she wants to be raped, but she wants to be dominated absolutely by her man sexually. Don't let women like this lie to you. This is why where we are right. This is why I make videos like this, because women like you, Miss Yurika Whuat, say stuff that confuse men. And when they come into the relationship and you're not satisfied because he's not being that dominating force you want him to be, and then you throw him under the bus and you have all this drama in your life because you could have just been honest with him in the first place emotionally and let him know, hey, just be a freaking man. Don't give a damn what I think. Just go for it. But you won't do that. You come on pages like this where men are trying to give advice to other men. Advice that we've come to find out the hard way through pain and suffering of relationships. And I've had my pain and suffering. Man, I've had women tear my heart out my chest, stomp on it in front of me, try and stuff it back on my chest, and then set it on fire with gasoline so that flames were coming out of my throat. I had to learn the hard way. And I'm telling you, if you listen to women, you're going to suffer. Because they say one thing and react to others. Ask yourself how many times, how many times you said, why is she with that jerk? Because men reckon, what is
Game.
Game recognized game, Granddad.
I recognize game. Your granddaddy recognized game.
Game recognized game, and you looking kind of unfamiliar right now. I can't. Where's Granddad? Can I help you, sir?
Game recognized game. Men know players when we see them because we know when we're being players. And we always say, why is she with that dude? Why is she taking that from him? Because she likes his dominance. He treats her like crap and she loves it. But it's not being treated like crap that she loves. It's just his indifference to her. Deference. And she loves it because she wants to submit to that masculine dominance. That's the way we are as men. We're a penetrating, dominating force. We go out, we hunt, we invent, we explore, we kill, we penetrate women. We're the banger, they're the bangee. Women are about submission, letting stuff in. They have to let men into them. They are caring, nurturing. They're soft. They are submissive by nature. And you're trying to tell us, flip it all around and then wreck all these relationships. And if you were correct, the West wouldn't have a 60% divorce rate. While guys are trying to be that great, caring, and I listen to her talk and hear her emotions. And what? Yeah, she needs some of that, but not to the amount and level that you say. Why are you lying to men, Yurika? Why are you lying to yourself? 50 Shades of Grey proves you're wrong. You women are desiring and craving for it to the point that you're blowing cash on a book about a psycho in a man's mind. So you're lying. What are you lying for? You want to submit to a man. You know what it is? You haven't, Yurika, now I do my analysis of you. And what it is you're upset because you haven't found a man you could submit to. And so it makes you mad to hear this type of stuff. You get upset because you like, that man doesn't exist. No, he's out there, but you haven't found him yet. Or he just doesn't like you. The man you want doesn't like you. Like, how do women say? The man I want is either taken or he's gay. So you must be in that situation where the man you want, the man that you will willingly submit to, because he's out there. You're Dorian Gray of 50 Shades of Grey. He's out there somewhere. You know he is. But you haven't found him. And so you're slowly getting upset. And you're becoming sour. And when you see stuff like this, it bothers you. Tell me I'm wrong. Come on, Yurika. Come on, Yurika. What they say, you ain't nothing slick to a can of oil. Who you think you're fooling? I'm disappointed, Yurika. I'm disappointed. This is your man, Abuamerican, Yurika. Come on, bring something back for me. I know you will. I'm out.